Hi, welcome to the Innernet Cafe. We're going to have a little conversation here today. I'm Mayana Kingery, also known as Mama Tink. We'll be with Andres Maros, who is Papa Pan, and Christine Grace.
Who is.
And to begin with, we're just each going to share a little bit about where we are in this moment. Today is May 26th, full moon, lunar eclipse, and we're just taking note of this moment as we're all together here, and hope you enjoy the video. So, where am I today? After 8 years of journeying on the road and traveling and going to different places across the world, Andras and I have settled into a little home that we purchased in Stewart, Virginia, where we're laying the groundwork and setting up the headquarters for Everland. And you can learn more about that on our website. But for now, for me personally, this is what I want to talk about is I am settling on the ground in a place that feels like home for the first time in a long time, and enjoying planting and designing and settling in. And at the same time, personally, I've been having some physical challenges, and I've come to find out that I have a mass in my lung. And so I am doing some deep inner healing work. I've been about 3 days now doing some deep inner healing work with that and watching it just dissolve and dissipate and go away. And planning for gatherings and events and trainings with Peace Production, our nonprofit. I'm redoing all of our marketing materials and our website, and writing books. I'm very engaged in the creative process of writing our stories, helping Andras write his story, writing my story, writing our story, and writing poetry and all kinds of wonderful things. And on this day, I'm very cognizant of the journey I've taken, how I've come to be here and to be who I am, embodied. Through the shadow, through the heights, through spirit, soul, 12 dimensions of self, and feeling totally in my own power and enjoying the magnification of our power as a team and as a collective, as the world is emerging, the new world is emerging through each one of us and through our actions as we come together. I'm enjoying very much having our first home guest with Christine Grace, and the simple pleasures of cooking and cleaning and planting and tending and living and loving and being. That's where I am.
Ready, set, go. Oh man. First of all, I'm so deeply honored to be a house guest here. As I am have said yes to the invitation to travel light. And when I first received that beautiful invitation from Spirit in a meditation in 2017, I literally came out of my meditation laughing, like, what the fuck, God? You are funny. As I was letting go of all of my possessions, as if I could possess anything, letting go of all my material possessions and driving across the country to care for my beloved mother. And I heard on my way, this, Christine, too, is for your freedom and your joy. And that message sounded so wonderful. I said, well, absolutely, I get that. And I will say, following that, as Mayana mentioned, in the awareness of being aware of all that comes up, the comings and goings of bliss and freedom and peace and joy and harmony, and then some, many times I've found myself literally crying into the garden in the backyard, just weeping and saying, oh, really? Really? I said yes to this? But rather than resist it and stop it and try to put a lid on it, which is what many of us I'm sure can relate to, but my own personal experience, that does not work. Maybe a temporary fix, a Band-Aid to stop the oozing. But that which is here, present, wanting to come forth is always for my good and therefore for the highest good of all. I just remain unattached to anybody getting that or believing that. And I realized, oh my goodness, this is for me. Now I've said that before. I've said we have everything within us to handle that which is before us, and life is for us, and choosing in every single moment to know that even the pain and the suffering and the struggle, the piercing of the veil, that I would know that that was for me. I see it in a little bit of a different way now. I don't have a traditional view of karma. I don't see the way I used to see of the law of mind action and as above, so below. It's a little different now for me. And that is, there's no punitive anything. There's no judgment. There's no he said, she said, they said, therefore we are all suffering on the planet right now because of all the things that we've ever done, thought, and done against each other. I realize that even in the mind that claims they are for non-duality, there is a dueling going on, a hierarchy, what leads to me to greed and corruption. And so I realized right now, in the awareness of me having any fear whatsoever in scarcity, that will always lead me to greed. And that greed can I can turn it against myself, I can turn it against you, and I have no interest in that anymore. I have no interest in that anymore. My interest is in the world that I know is possible because I see it, I feel it, I know it within every cell of my being. And so therefore, I don't need to proselytize about it. I simply need to be it to the best of my ability. And so I am here today in this house where I was invited, where I actually put the invitation out to myself, to Mayana, and we literally were thinking of each other almost in the same time. But see, that's the truth for all of us. It's here, it's here, it's here. And so I am committing to doing the best that I can to be here now and to know that everything is being let go that no longer serves me, so that this playful, joyful world that I've known since the first breath I took in this physical form is possible. And I simply let go. So where I am right now is surrender. Boom. And that is not giving up, that's giving in and giving away all that I am. Thank you.
What a most incredible moment in time where we are, where we all are, where I am, where all of humanity is. Out of the silence, out of the inner silence that we were given an opportunity to get to because of this pandemic. We were trying to have others join us in this going inner. When I say we, Mama Tink and yours truly, Papa Pan. What an interesting way to come to that. Because our story is translated into the things that we've been intentionally doing. Producing peace in the heart of humanity is what we've taken on. As we recognize who we are individually and who we are together, and what are we here to do? How we are here to contribute. So my focus has been pretty much just that for quite some time. But with this opportunity of the last year and a half, where the whole world joined in with this opportunity to go within and examine or ascertain or decipher, who am I? What am I all about? Who are we? What is going on? The discovery of just about all the things that needed to be discovered around the world, politically, socially, and individually. I'm just ready to bring my 77 years of of wandering and wondering, what's this all about? So I'm ready to share that everything that has been given to me through this process, through my journey with all those who actually physically came in touch with, but even more importantly, all those who have, on the spiritual plane or on this other unknown place that we only discover when we discover that there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go to be somebody, because the journey is from becoming somebody or wanting to be somebody to become nobody. And this nobody that we become, then we realize that that's where we find everybody. And that we are everybody.
So this conversation is just going to emerge from where we each are in this moment now to model coming together and being in the moment together.
Beautiful. Because if we actually dissected each our own belief system or ideology about anything, we could, as I have experienced and seen many people do today in this very day and age, say, we just can't have a conversation. We can't agree, so therefore we can't have a conversation. And I'm like, for me, love doesn't care about agreement. I want to listen and hear. I want to know you at your depths. And so I'm curious. And I do my best to approach everything with a sense of wonder. I wonder what Mayana is going to say today. I wonder what Andras is going to say today, or do today, or be. So it's fun.
It's that wonder that draws us and helps us move forward graciously. It's the grace and the joy. Wonder brings those into our lives.
The wonder and the beauty of it all. That's actually a line from a play I was in college.
Which one? Which is?
I don't remember the name of the play, but I played the horn, and it was about a trumpet player who I was, but I wasn't really on the stage until the finale.
Oh my God.
I was just playing the trumpet in the background, and my family was talking about me, and that was the whole play about. And then I show up, and
Oh my God,
the wonder and the beauty of
you
it.
just described like my experience right now of I was off stage and my whole family was just talking about me, and then I showed up, and I'm like, yeah, the real me showed up. Everybody was just talking. I mean, and of course I see these are all aspects of myself, but like, and then I showed up. I consciously showed up, and it's like, doesn't matter what I have said, what's been said, what someone said. What matters is who I'm choosing to be right now and how I'm showing up. Because if we take what each other has said, done, or thought and hold it against each other, then we can't allow one another to be new and be kind of familiar with the unfamiliar, because we're holding everybody in these rigid ideas of that's the way he is, that's the way she is. And we don't get to experience anything new.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
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 Yeah?
'Cause we
Maybe.
we have pictures in our mind of the last moment we saw someone, and we hold them in that place when that's not where they are now, because just as we have grown, so have they. Just as we've changed, so have they. And as your play, your family, what was the line when you came on stage with them? What was
With
that
who?
line again? The play.
Oh, the wonder and the beauty. The wonder and the beauty of it. Yeah.
What was the line? You were horny?
The line is the line following this what we all, here's what I see it. I see it that what we're really looking for in the wonderment is about discovering ourselves anew. At any moment, at each moment, to be new to ourselves. As you were saying, that that each other, thinking about each other, but it's really what we're all after is to be able to be totally new and authentic to ourselves, and so that we don't fall into this fixed, rigid picture of who do we think we are.
Yeah.
Because that's all it is. Who do you think you are that's all what you think you are.
Well, and that
It's a
yes,
discovery
absolutely.
about who we are in each moment. And to allow that to happen is really that's the game of, that's the theater of the world. That's what I believe that I've been. I don't believe, I know that this has been my journey.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been everybody's journey, obviously, but that's my journey, and that's basically what I've been attempting to do with people that came into my life.
Yeah. And when we talk about our thoughts, you know, we have lots of thoughts going through our mind, and they're just vibrations in the air that we pick up on, and it attaches to us through our story. The new thing and the new thought, that where new thoughts come from and new ways of being, they are spurred from the heart. When you're living in your heart and the thought is impelled from there, it's not attached to old stories. It's a thought you've never thought before. It's a way of being you've never considered before. It's oh, that's me too. Oh, I get to do that now. Oh, I wonder what this experience is going to be like. You know, I've never thought about going through an experience like this. How can I go through with the ease and grace that teaches me and gives me treasure, and looking for the treasure in every experience. And, you know, life is a treasure. It really is a treasure, and our relationships are treasures. And we have to treat them as such, with the sacredness that they deserve.
Well, and I've noticed that to the degree that I am truly in an authentic place of self-love and knowing myself, it will be shown to me in the outer when I am relating with people, when I'm in conversation with people, when I go visit my family. A lot of people can relate to that. Traditionally, family of origin, we get triggered sometimes. But I've noticed over the last few years, especially spending time with certain people, I've had the beautiful opportunity of literally witnessing, experiencing these veils falling away, these layers of where I can truly smile and say, oh yes, that too, without the hurt, without the little woundedness. Because if I really am new, then I'm not going to get triggered by these old stories or the label that somebody is speaking back to me. It's just, I can literally look at someone and say, interesting perspective, thank you for sharing, and be okay with it. Yeah, it's actually makes it more fun to not get so ruffled and riled and, knocked out of whatever I was experiencing peace, and now he or she said something and it brings something up. Nowadays it's just, and again, I could say nowadays it doesn't happen so much, but I'm not attached to that either.
And things are practice.
Absolutely.
It's about practice.
Yeah.
And our practice that we've developed helps our minds stay clear.
Yeah.
We've gone beyond just the breathing practice from Art of Living that Andras trained as a teacher of. we've taken it beyond that. We included the Blue Lotus chakra bloom that moves our mind up into the one mind instead of being in the individual. It's the collective mind, and the heart and the root directly connected together so we can bloom as a flower. And we include sound and multidimensional things that, and every morning we do this practice, and it sets our tone for the day and just really keeps us.
And that's so beautiful, Mayana, because, you know, we talk a lot about mass consciousness, and rather than seeing mass consciousness as a negativity happening, I see that right now what we're doing and what we experience and share and the practices we each have, to me that is mass consciousness. And I don't speak of, you know, oh my God, the world, we're going to hell in a handbasket, because I know that we are unhooking from things that don't serve us anymore. But I can only do that individually as myself, and share with others in a giving way. Like you have given me a place to stay in your home for the few days that I've been here.
That was, on our journey, that was always a surprise to me. When people weren't willing to offer us a bed for the night. You know, my home has always been open. I always had an open home if someone was traveling through. I didn't care how many people there were. There's room on the floor. We can always find a spot.
Yeah.
We always have enough food. You know, I was always that way with my family, and it was a surprise to me when others weren't that way.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to now be able to have that space again that I can offer.
Isn't that funny? But maybe that's where couch surfing came in.
Right.
You know, really from kind of more of, oh, we don't do that, to people opening up their homes and couch surfing happening. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, what the three of us have in common here is, well,
Besides everything.
besides everything, what's in the relevance of this moment,
Yes.
in terms of our training, our experience, and is of course the theological understanding of who we are and where we are in the moment, and the faith, or the church that we've been a part of. They've been labeled, actually the combination of those churches, called the New Thought churches, which is very much the essence of what we're really talking about. Is they were labeled New Thought churches because the hope, the desire is to be able to have a whole different perspective, to have continuous opportunity for what someone might call an aha moment, because basically an aha moment, that's what it is. It's wow, I see. It may not even be a new thought, but a new way of seeing a particular subject,
A new perspective.
a new perspective on a thought, and what the challenge that is that one of the things that's said, that we are creatures of habit, and the creatures of habit is not only because of what we do habitually, because really the doing of anything is a result of thought, and it's habitual thoughts that drives us to habitual habit doing things, and to get away from that is the challenge. And it's really, I just, I say this often. I don't know if I share this with you, but my first wise man said to me, I'm not going to relate the whole story, but my first wise man said to me, when I asked him what was his secret, and it was, I was 19 years old, and he was not. he was a father of one of my classmates, and in college. Anyway, and when I discovered a lot of things about him that were amazing to me, and I asked him what his secret was, really looking for something to start with on my journey into this
Adulthood.
I'm hearing
Yeah,
duct tape
adulthood.
and WD-40. Go ahead.
and he said after a really, really careful thought, because he looked at me and he saw that I was really asking a very important question, that I wasn't just, hey, what's your secret, buddy?
Yeah.
Or, no, that I was really looking for a meaningful consideration to my answer. And so he kept looking at me, and he said, finally, don't ever get stuck.
Duct tape and WD-40. Duct tape will stick you, WD-40 will.
And then he just kept looking at me. And I thought he was gonna tell me what that means. Get stuck where? And stuck in the mud, and stuck in the snow, stuck, where do I get stuck? I really wanted, I thought he was gonna share it more.
Yeah.
But he just kept looking at me. And then I realized that it's something for me to discover.
Yeah.
The places and the way we get stuck.
Yeah.
And since 19, that has been what gave me the fuel. Because I cannot tell you how many times a day, sometimes, not every day, but sometimes I would hear that don't ever get stuck idea. And that's what kept me going.
Yeah. What's so funny, Andrash, is because you started with the whole new thought and what we have in common, organization, everything, and even the new thought organizations that I've been a part of or visited or whatever can get so stuck in their idea of the way, even though almost at the beginning of every presentation it said, there are infinite paths to oneness, and this is what you have to do. And so I just think it's so funny and how beautiful that this wise man, he could have just downloaded, chapters and volumes into you, but he really used the model of true education, educare, to draw from within out, and allowed you the space and the invitation for you to know and ask those questions for yourself. What? That's so beautiful modeling.
Well, to finish that new thought idea, I said that, but it became very obvious to me that it isn't really new thoughts that we need. And the new thought churches, the new thought, what are those, not scriptures, what are the new thought,
scriptures,
the new thought,
Dogma.
Dogma is, there's hardly anything in there that really allows and introduces anybody to how to have a new thought. It's...
The founders of those organizations had new thoughts.
Yeah. Like,
And it's their new thought being carried forward rather than the process of having new thoughts.
Yes, because we have to each apply that to our own lives, which we, now the application of
Well,
it.
and to be in an organization, you have to follow their guidelines and dogma.
Yeah.
And that, when they say this is the way we do it, then that's the way they do it. And if you don't do it that way, then you don't harmonize.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing when we have one of those aha moments or one of those inspirations in ourselves. If we hold on to that for the rest of our lives, is I had an awakening at this time, and that was my awakening. But that was for that moment. You need another awakening today and tomorrow, and every day we need a new awakening. Everything new every day, every moment of every day. It's a continual growing and flowing, because life is growth or it's not life. We have to keep growing every moment and not. That's one thing I've seen a lot of my friends, a lot of people in the world, a lot of light workers, well, whatever. They hold on to these experiences that transform them and say that's it.
And we all have these theories, but theory is theory until we live it. And so to me, we are, this opportunity right now, this moment, we have an opportunity to just live, fully embodied. And, everything else is theory and gets written down in stone and doesn't move. But, I'm excited. Can you tell? I'm excited about where we are.
It's the living word in us, living as us. Through our life is the word. Our life is what's spoken into existence, and we can write books, and many of us do, and we are, and that happens.
Because we're all authors.
And when it's written down, it doesn't keep changing. That's the truth for that moment. Some books have words in them that are still alive and can grow and be new every time you read it.
Absolutely.
That's a true spirit inspiration communication. When it's new every moment.
I love that.
Yeah.
Food for thought and not. Because we have talked about how it's true. It's just having no thought is really fun.
That moment, that's one of those aha moments when no thoughts were in my head and I was in bliss. Because there were no thoughts and I could just look around at the world and enjoy the beauty of it.
And then we try to hold on to that, and that's like, no.
But then, and also, because energy, the way energy works that I've learned is it will come and you'll see it, you'll recognize, oh, there's that. Or you'll see someone. The relationships are the same. You'll see someone or know someone exists. And then maybe you'll meet them. And then you spend time with them. And then you build a relationship. And energy works the same way. It doesn't just, here's it all at once, because sometimes we can't handle that. And it's slow motion of it is really an enriching experience to get to know through time and let it unfold easily, rather than, oh, I had a download and I've got it all. Well, you might have got the download, but you better unpack it through time. And let it unfold and let the knowings come. And there's more than just the download, the moment of that.
Absolutely.
Time moves on, and people move on. People are moving on all the time. inside and outside of time. And you know, Dylan Thomas said something. There was another play. He said, I pay no attention to time because time pays no attention to me. And I really wondered about that line, even when I was, this is years ago when I was doing that play, but everything has to be defined. What do you mean by attention is at the center of this. This particular phrase, and attention is what we receive from each other. Consideration, attention, just to be really looked at and heard, it requires somebody to pay attention, to give your attention. And it isn't true that time, because that's all, in a way, that's all there is time, of course. And time pays attention to everything, and we pay attention to time only because we're engaged with all the children of time, of the ages, whether they're plants, animals, trees, or relatives even.
Time is a woman.
Time is a woman.
She
gives birth.
She flows.
Well, but it's called a woman because she gives birth.
Well, actually,
Time.
the world calls it Father Time, but I'm saying I wrote a poem about time as a woman and how she ebbs and flows in it, and the way that things move, how she is feminine. And she's my friend, so I make friends with time, so time would help me.
Nice. I mean, we might as well make up something good by now.
Yeah, it was a new thought.
Yeah. I mean, we get to
Spurred from my
redefine things and
Yeah.
share our definitions with one another, because maybe something Andrash says triggers something in me, and I go, ooh, yeah, I get that. That just felt expansive for me. And you say something, and I go, ooh, I like that little nuance on that word. And it's just nothing. We make this stuff up. We make up grammar and spelling and every single thing. We have put something on it. And so it just makes me laugh when people say, well, that's not the way it is. And I'm like, well, why not? Well, Christine, we can't really have a world without money, for example. And I'm like, well, it's all just energy, and we're just exchanging things, and we just have these preconceived, very concrete ideas around it all. And I'm thinking, because right now I'm literally seeing some alternative realities that people are sharing because of things that are going on the planet right now. And I actually was tuning into this morning, y'all, and I thought, wait a minute, the 3 ideas I saw this morning are to me, just iterations of the same thing. I mean, it's just another hierarchical exchange. And I'm like, what if everything was just equal? And there was nothing above or below, and we were all just equal.
No greater than or less
no,
than.
and we're, because people have put a certain amount of attention into notoriety. If you studied at a particular place for a length of time, and if you have certain titles after your name, and then, anyways, I just see it all as unhooking from all of those labels and ideas, and being in a kind of equal playing field instead of the higher, lower, winner, loser. I just prefer win-win.
So what if attention was our currency? Pay attention.
Exchanging.
And I used to tell my children to
Spade.
pay attention or you have to pay twice.
my word for my children all the time too. Pay attention.
Well,
Pay attention.
we're attending to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very caring.
I mean, think of it.
Mhm.
I don't know what happened here.
We're on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started out by talking a little bit about just mentioning the fact that we're all coming out of this COVID self-imposed time to go within for some of us. And then the most recent, in fact, just last night we were watching this phenomena about the cicadas who have been underground for 17 years, you know, and I mean, if we did that, if we kind of went within for 17 years, we could come out new. And I mean, you know, one of the interesting things about the cicadas that he kept pointing out, what a what's the name of the bug studies? People who study bugs, well, anyway.
That.
So, this interview was with two people a man and a woman who were, that's what they studied, bugs, insect specialists. And of course both of them were like big smiles because this is what they've been waiting for 17 years for these cicadas to appear. But, you know, I took it beyond the bugs. To me, it wasn't the bugs. It was more interesting to me to see them, how they were reacting. But one of the things that they kept pointing out is that these bugs, they offer no harm. You don't have to be afraid of them because they don't bite, they don't sting, they have no poison, they don't do anything. In fact, they're very easy to be the victim. They feed so many things, and all they do is they come out and they end up they feed underground on the roots of the trees, the plant, whatever is that they've got around them. But after 17 years, they mature into the thing, and then they fly up to the tops of the tree, and they sing just to attract the opposite sex. It's the men that sing. The males, it's not men. The males that sing, right?
Yeah.
And I guess who sings the best gets. But there's so many to choose from. So, but it's like this big noise that they do for a little while.
Yeah.
Their lifespan is only like
6
10
weeks?
days.
Well,
No.
Oh, what?
I mean,
in that iteration.
Yeah, after they come out of their hard shell and everything. So they then, their time then is to mate.
Yeah.
And they can mate more than once. I guess not the females, because once I don't know if he didn't touch on that. That would have been a question I asked, if the females can keep getting pregnant, whatever you call it. But he did mention that after he woos one
Sally.
cicada,
Yeah.
then, you know, he flies off and finds another one.
Yeah. On
Yeah.
purpose. Like, that's the purpose.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That's their life, is to, it's like that song, Veni Vidi Vici, the Italian song, I came, I saw, I conquered. And of course, the Italians take it to the level of romance, you know.
Yeah.
I came, I saw.
Yeah.
It was all about, I came, I saw, and you know, that's,
And now as humanity is growing, as we're growing as a species, and we're transforming our species.
Out of our hard shells.
Yeah,
letting-
and that's what this pandemic has allowed. Some people have taken the opportunity to go within, to shed the shell, to come out as the butterfly, or if you will, the seed shell coming off and blooming as
Yeah.
plant, whichever analogy works for you.
Right.
You know,
To know that it's
that
on purpose.
we're changing the way we've interacted together, and how now we are opened up so more. We're not just male and female.
Yeah.
We're not the patriarchy in charge of everything. The men are in charge of everything, and if you're not this, you don't count. You know, now we're opening up that everybody is of equal value, and everybody has their own unique blend of that masculine, feminine energy and expression, and everyone's expression is valid.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing, Maya, and I get so passionate about that because it's like, what? Are we kidding to think that one person is the dictator who's got the authority to speak the truth and everybody else are just little minions? It's like, no, it's so silly. It's, you know, when we realize that we each have something valuable and, you know, and to value that. And, you know, I was sharing with you the other day about the title of this book, The Greatest Story Never Told. And it has been told. It's not that it's never been told that we're all an original blessing, you know, that we're born whole and complete, like, period. For me, that's, for me, the truth. But now we get to see in many different ways this opportunity of, like, kind of scattering to the wind everything that has been, and these fertile seeds will fall, but we do have an opportunity to create this new world right now where, and I would prefer that it's not through artificial intelligence. I like the art of real intelligence, the natural, the wise, you know, the wise ones that we are. You spoke of your wise one that came to you, the first wise one. Well, yeah, to model to you that, oh, please know yourself. To thine own self be true. Know yourself so that you can be in all your gloriousness who and what you are, and that we each have an opportunity to do that. And all we can do is share with one another. This is my, you know, experience, and try it on, take what's yours, leave the rest behind, and appreciate it all. Yeah. Wow.
So thanks for sharing a cup of tea with us today.
Yes. Salud. Oh, yes, look at the better together.
We are better together.
Oh, thanks for inviting me. Until the next time.
Thanks for being.
Oh my God, you know,
Here.
Mr. Rogers. It's a beautiful day in my consciousness. It's a beautiful day in my consciousness. Would you be mine? Will you be mine? Will you be my neighbor?
We actually did an event called Be My Neighbor in Grants Pass.
I just,
Bringing the community together.
so beautiful. What a beautiful soul. Yeah.
Of course, every day it's like, I've been singing that song lately a couple times, not every morning, but it's a new day, and here comes the morning. Fresh start, there's a lot to be done. A new day, I feel like singing. Fresh start, I'm gonna shine like the sun.